So we're going to start this just like regular.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just da-da-da-da-da-da. When you walk on stage, it's kind of a different world now.
You sort of go into what I would say, you go into a zone, you know, where you're more, it's not a thoughtful process, it's more of an instinctive, automatic process.
Sometimes your mind actually wanders to incredible places to where you actually have to reel yourself in going, oh, I'm on stage, I'm doing this song.
Right when I step out and get up on the stage and kind of look around, I know it's a dark house and I know it's filled, you know, you sort of go, how lucky could a guy be?
Sometimes my mind drifts and things, it's like a movie playing in my head. I'll think about things that happened to me when I was 4 or 5 years old. The weirdest things pop into my head on stage.
The audience really makes a big difference to me as to how the performance goes.
The audience is part of the performance, you know, and they know it.
The more you get back, the more you want to feed, sort of.
We'll crack jokes to each other. Walsh will say something to me that's just totally outrageous, and I'll laugh.
Most guys our age are done.
It looks to me like at least 3 generations out there.
But for some reason, they keep coming, and what I've noticed is that we have crossed a bridge to another generation of people.
There's a lot of kids there now, which really makes me happy.
It's great to go out there and get that feedback, you know, from the people and traveling around the country. I mean, I still love that. I love it. No matter how many times I've been to some place, you know, you get to a point where you sort of start to feel at home everywhere.
The best way to describe an Eagles audience is that we have one of everything.
I found that when we're on stage, it pays not to think very much, you know.
Wait, that wasn't good enough. Take 3, Timothy arriving. Roll them.
All right, cue Tim.
Hold it, cut.
We all have sort of distinct personalities and distinct musical personalities, and I think that keeps it interesting for our fans.
I think we're playing and we're performing much better these days than we did in the 70s.
Don is our chief vocalist and our chief lyricist.
He's a great poet and he's a great singer.
Just love singing with other people and finding harmony parts and blending and coming in at the same time and scooping and cutting off right, and you know, it really is a lot of fun.
Glenn as a musician is very creative with actual musical parts and arranging.
We're still doing variations on a theme. We're still playing these songs, but I think we're getting better at playing these songs.
In fact, one of his nicknames is the Lone Arranger.
There's more nuance, there's more listening to each other on stage going on now than there was when we played in the 70s. Joe's the chief guitar player. He's the lead guitar player in our band now.
Joe has been getting better every year.
When he gets cranked up on towards the end of the set, there's really nothing better.
What I like about Joe is that he's a lyrical player.
It's fun to watch him every night. I really enjoy watching him play.
As a guitar player, you know, it's wonderful to have lead singers to play for. Don and Glenn are great frontmen.
Timothy is the ribbon on the package. He plays the bass part down below, adds the high singing part above.
Don and Glenn are on the same wavelength. The combination of the two turns into something greater than either individual. There's a chemistry there.
I think our songs have stood the test of time pretty well. I think some of them were perhaps mature beyond our years.
We were at a management company. It was called Lookout Management then, but it was David Geffen and Elliot Roberts, and they had Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Jackson Browne, Judy Sill, you know, and I think Don and I, without saying as much to each other, we just sort of knew that we were going to have to get better as songwriters.
I think the Eagles' success, once again, it's obvious to me. It's all in the songs.
I think Desperado was like the first song that we wrote together that we said, you know, this has got a little meat to it. This has got some feeling. You know, this has got good words.
We tried to put a lot of thought into those songs, a lot of universal themes. that many people could relate to. We didn't write from a terribly narrow or personal perspective.
And I think we really rolled up our sleeves and got serious about songwriting at that point.
You know, when we play, the people are really familiar with the songs and love the music, and we can feel that.
Very simply, we try to play the songs that we know people like and are familiar with. We play the hits. We have no qualms about playing the hits.
It's called tuning the snare drum. Very delicate operation.
We rehearse a lot. You know, we don't, especially vocal rehearse. You know, it's not an accident that the vocals sound good.
We do a sound check every day, no matter what. You know, we go down to the hall and we run through some things and check out the equipment, and we approach it very, professionally.
You know, we have this little section off to the side of the stage that we call the Circle of Fear. It's got 8 chairs in a circle, and that's where we go and we check harmony parts and just play with one acoustic guitar and hear what everybody's singing.
Singing harmony is fun. It's just a lot of fun.
The Circle of Fear is, it's nothing. It's getting around and sitting around and singing and honing down your vocal parts.
It's tough love because your part, you may not be singing with the other guys, and you've got to hear that.
It's like singing a cappella. We're really gonna hear what everybody's singing, and if they're making the notes and if we're moving together, changing at the same time.
It takes a lot of rehearsing. It takes a lot of work to work out the arrangements and decide who's going to sing which part.
You know, there's some songs where, I can't even sing the part sitting down. I have to stand up.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid nickname. It sounds like a Glenn nickname. The Circle of Fear. It's not the Circle of Fear.
We've always been accused of being a little too perfect, but I don't see that as a flaw necessarily. People seem to like that.
We don't move around too much on stage. We sort of have to be pretty stationary, close to your mic on a lot of songs, especially the ones early in the set. Find your voice, get your part, blend, be in tune, make the changes, don't rush, listen to the drummer, stay in the pocket.
I think even from the first time I saw the Eagles before I was a member to this day, it's somewhat of a sort of a stoic presentation. There's not a lot of, butt wagging.
Yeah, and I forget who the writer was, but he said we loitered on stage. But that was fine with us, And all the more so now that we're in our mid to late 50s, you can't go prancing around up there like a young buck, It's a little more dignified to loiter.
Battery fixed it, Alan. I don't have a problem with this amp. Never mind.
Farewell One was Don's idea.
Some people didn't get that. Some people didn't get that Farewell One was like a tongue-in-cheek. They thought it was really a farewell tour.
It's kind of unexplored territory here, what old rockers do.
There's no way you could have convinced me when I was even 35 that we'd still be doing this and doing these kinds of numbers in terms of how many people come to see us.
I guess you could say it's really easy for us to be the Eagles because we're the Eagles. But, it's still fun to play with the guys, and it's still fun going on the road.
We can do as many farewell tours as we want as long as we number them,
We're really, really lucky and in such a great position to be able to still do something that we truly enjoy doing and still do it at a relatively high level.
We take a lot of time and care in making sure everything is spot on as possible.
We're all extremely grateful to have the work and to have this much success and so many fans who have stuck with us for so long. I mean, it's a miracle, really. It's phenomenal that this is still going on.
We're an American band, and we have, we're a combination of all the music that all of us grew up listening to and that we still love and embrace.
The addition of the solo songs is a good thing, I think. It gives each one of us sort of a chance to do our individual thing. And most of the solo songs could have been Eagles songs anyway.
Well, that's one of the nice things about our show is it's really sort of like 4 shows in one. You know, it's the Eagles and it's Don and me and Joe and, you know, all those, you know, all that different stuff. I think it's a nice variety.
It enables us to put on a 3-hour concert.
We sort of plan the Eagles year by year now, and we try to come up with what we think is a working plan for the year with some free time involved for people and touring time so that we can generate some income and keep our families and the people we employ, all that sort of running, keep our name out there.
We never dreamed we would affect that many people on the planet.
It's really good to know that music can still cross all those boundaries and bring people together. You know, and it's a cliche, but it's been called the universal language, and I think it still is, and it always will be.